Ever wondered how some fast food items just didn't make the cut? Well, you're in the right place. Welcome to our journey into the fascinating world of fast food fails. These are the stories of unique menu items that, for one reason or another, were not exactly hailed as the next big thing in fast food. From the bizarre to the downright controversial, these culinary experiments were often met with raised eyebrows, puzzled looks, and sometimes even outright disgust. Whether it's a poorly received flavor combo, a marketing blunder, or a recipe that simply didn't resonate with the masses, these fast food flops are as intriguing as they are cringeworthy. These are the tales of ambitious fast food chains who dared to think outside the box, only to find that sometimes the box is there for a reason. So buckle up and prepare your taste buds for a wild ride. Join us as we take a trip down memory lane, revisiting some of the most notorious fast food fails in history. Let's rewind to the 1980s, a time of big hair, bold fashion, and yes, even bigger fast food failures. This was a decade when fast food giants were not afraid to push boundaries and take risks, but not all of them paid off. Take for example, McDonald's McDLT. Launched with a bang in 1984, this sandwich was served in a dual-compartment styrofoam container to keep the lettuce and tomato cool and the burger and bun warm. Innovative? Definitely. Environmentally friendly? Not so much. But the real issue was its taste. The public found it bland and unappealing, leading to its discontinuation just a few years later. Then there was Wendy's Super Bar. This was a buffet-style offering that included everything from pasta to tacos to fruit salad. The idea was to provide variety and value, but the execution was lacking. The food was often cold and stale, and the cleanup was a nightmare. By the early 90s, Wendy's had phased out the Super Bar, realizing that it was straying too far from its core business. And who could forget Burger King's Satisfries? Introduced in the late 80s, these were a lower-fat, lower-calorie alternative to regular fries. But the public wasn't buying it. Literally. The taste just didn't measure up to the original, and the health benefits weren't enough to make up for it. By the end of the decade, Satisfries had disappeared from the menu. The 80s were a time of experimentation in the fast food industry, with companies trying to differentiate themselves and attract new customers. But as these examples show, not every idea is a winner. Some were too ahead of their time, while others simply missed the mark in terms of taste or execution. As it turns out, the 80s weren't just about bad hair and neon clothes. They were also about some seriously questionable fast food choices. Fast forward to the 90s, a decade known for its grunge, its sitcoms, and its fair share of fast food flops. Picture this. It's the era of the Spice Girls and Friends, but it's also a time when fast food chains were experimenting with some, let's say, interesting menu items. From the infamous McLean Deluxe, a low-fat hamburger introduced by McDonald's that promised all the taste with less guilt, to Burger King's Halloween Whopper that resulted in, well, unexpected side effects that sent social media into a frenzy. Oh, and who could forget the Arch Deluxe? Another McDonald's misstep, this burger was intended for a more grown-up palate, featuring a secret mustard and mayonnaise sauce. The public didn't bite, and the Arch Deluxe has since become a textbook case of a marketing flop. Then there was the Crystal Pepsi disaster. PepsiCo thought it would be a good idea to create a clear cola. But consumers were left scratching their heads, wondering why their beloved cola was suddenly transparent. Despite a flashy Super Bowl ad and a Van Halen soundtrack, Crystal Pepsi was discontinued just a year after its launch. Wendy's, not to be left out, had its own share of the 90s fast food blunders with the Super Bar. This buffet-style offering featured pasta, salad, and even Mexican food. Yes, you heard right, Mexican food at Wendy's. The Super Bar was eventually discontinued due to maintenance costs and lack of popularity. And lastly, there's the Taco Bell's seafood salad, a short-lived attempt to compete with McDonald's Filet-O-Fish. Spoiler alert, it didn't work. The salad was quickly discontinued amidst concerns about fast food seafood, so, as you can see, the 90s were a wild ride in the world of fast food. For every successful item that's still on the menu today, there were just as many, if not more, missteps along the way. And just like that, the 90s left us with a few more fast food items to forget. The new millennium brought with it a wave of innovation, and some truly unforgettable fast food fails. As the calendar turned to the year 2000, the fast food industry was buzzing with the promise of new beginnings. But as we soon discovered, not all that glitters is golden arches. One of the most notorious missteps of the early 2000s was the infamous McDonald's Arch Deluxe. Touted as a burger for grown-ups, it boasted a secret mustard mayo sauce that was supposed to appeal to more sophisticated palates. Yet, despite a staggering $100 million marketing campaign, the Arch Deluxe flopped. Why? Because it turns out when people want a fast food burger, they're not looking for sophistication, they're looking for familiarity and comfort. Then there was Burger King's Satisfries. Introduced in 2013, these lower-calorie fries were meant to appeal to the health-conscious crowd, but they were met with a lukewarm response. People didn't go to Burger King for healthy options, they went for indulgence. And so, just a year after their debut, Satisfries were quietly removed from the menu. And who could forget the KFC Double Down? This sandwich, which replaced the traditional bun with 2 pieces of fried chicken, was met with a mix of fascination and horror. The public was intrigued, sure, but ultimately the Double Down was more of a novelty than a menu mainstay. Even Subway, the supposed healthier fast food option, wasn't immune to missteps. Their Fresh Fit meals, introduced in 2007, were meant to promote healthier eating. But when it was revealed that their foot-long subs were actually only 11 inches long, trust was broken, and the public's appetite for Subway's healthy options waned. Thus, the new millennium proved that even in the world of fast food, progress isn't always a straight line. In recent years, fast food chains have continued to push the envelope, with some less than appetizing results. The landscape of our beloved fast food industry is littered with the remains of menu items that, let's just say, didn't quite hit the spot. Take for instance the infamous McLobster. McDonald's attempt to bring the luxury of lobster to the masses was, to say the least, a bit of a flop. Introduced with much fanfare, this seafood sandwich swiftly sunk, leaving many questioning if lobster and fast food were ever meant to be in the same sentence. Then there was the Whopperito. Burger King's bid to fuse the classic Whopper with a burrito. It seemed like an innovative idea, but the public was less than thrilled. The Whopperito was quickly discontinued, leaving behind a legacy of culinary confusion. And who can forget the Doritos Locos Tacos? Taco Bell's gamble to combine a taco with a Dorito chip did initially create a buzz, but ultimately the novelty wore off, and the Doritos Locos Tacos joined the ranks of fast food items that were here today, gone tomorrow. But it's not just about taste, sometimes controversy plays a role too. Remember when Subway tried to introduce a yoga mat chemical, azotocarbonamide, into their bread recipe? The backlash was swift, leading to the immediate discontinuation of that recipe. And let's not forget Starbucks Unicorn Frappuccino. This brightly colored, flavor-changing drink was more about Instagram than actual taste. The sugar-packed drink received a lot of criticism for its high calorie content and lack of nutritional value. It was quickly retired, proving once again that not all that glitters is gold. As we can see even today, fast food chains sometimes miss the mark when it comes to new menu items. But, hey, it's all part of the fast food experience, right? After all, without these missteps, we wouldn't have the classics that we all know and love. So, what have we learned from these fast food failures? Well, we've taken a roller coaster ride through some of the most notorious menu mishaps in history. From the early days of fast food, we saw how the Hula Burger's unconventional pineapple patty didn't quite hit the mark. Then, we journeyed through a decade of disappointment where the McDLT's environmentally unfriendly packaging led to its downfall. As we ventured into the new millennium, the Burger King Satisfries found that healthier alternatives aren't always a guaranteed success. And most recently, we uncovered how the KFC Double Down's over-the-top indulgence was too much for some to stomach. Common factors contributing to these items' failure included misreading consumer tastes, environmental concerns, and the struggle to balance indulgence with health consciousness. It's a delicate balancing act, and these examples show that not every risk pays off. While these fast food fails may have left a bad taste in our mouths, they certainly make for some entertaining food for thought. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the fascinating world of fast food.